Hello and welcome to another edition of Empathy at the Table. Grab your popcorn, grab your notebooks. You are in for a treat. Today, I welcome on to the podcast Carlota Pi, who is not only a great friend, she's a mentor, she's a visionary, and she's a business leader. She is someone who has shaped the most interesting scale-up stories to come out of Spain in the last decade. Carlota is co-founder and executive president of Holaluz, which is the renewable company that grew from a small idea in Barcelona into a publicly listed business with a clear mission and culture that people still talk about. Carlota's background spans engineering, commercial leadership, and the hard reality of building in a tightly regulated industry. But what really sets her apart is her ability to connect purpose and execution. In today's conversation, you're going to hear her stories, you're going to hear the ups and downs that she's faced, and what has kept her strong and focused and motivated all through. Please, ladies and gentlemen, I think this deserves a round of applause. Join me in welcoming Carlota Pi.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Tony, for having me in this Empathy at the Table. It's an honor to be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So as I said, I've known you for a very long time, and you've been one of my main supporters in the work that I do, and in this podcast. And I think you've kind of waited patiently for 2 years. I have been chasing you, but you waited 2 years until it was the right time, and today is the right day. So. Let's jump in. For people who may not know you, Carlota, maybe could you just share a little bit about your trajectory, your background, and what it is that you do that makes you such a figurehead of a leader in the world of business?
Well, the best thing I do and the thing that I care most about is being a mom. I'm mother of three teenagers, Joanna, Forge, and Blau. They inspire me every day, and they really push me further to be the best version of myself in terms of leadership, I would say, because you need to lead with example, with empathy, with joy, with optimism, and with creativity all day. And they have been the thing that, or the reason why I've shaped myself into the kind of leader that I am today. Yeah, so this is the first thing I am. Then, as a background, I studied engineering, as you were mentioning at the beginning, Tony, in Barcelona. Then I did some work on finance as well, in Barcelona as well. Then I moved to Germany. I've worked also in the States. I've done my MBA at IESE Business School, where you also belong. And I co-founded 14 years ago, almost 15 years ago, this company, Holaluz, with two classmates of my MBA, with the aim of building up technology for allowing people, families, to enjoy green, cheap, and easy electricity. And this is what we do at Holaluz. We are a tech platform, an energy management platform, supported by tech and data, where we connect independent power producers, either at scale or residential, throughout technology and data with residential customers, and we offer them a unique flat rate, a subscription-based model, to hundreds of thousands of households in Spain. That took a while. It took, as you were mentioning, roller coaster. We are still on the roller coaster, but with gratitude. I enjoy that with gratitude and with the belief and the know that I am in such a privileged position to be in this roller coaster.
Well, Carlota, I've got 3 pages of questions here, and there's no way I'll get through all of them. But I think the best way to do this is maybe just if we bunch it together. And I'd like to start off by asking you, when you look at on your LinkedIn profile, you have this beautiful value that says "es posible," which means, in Spanish, it's possible. But I know this to be your value as well. This is you and how you live your life. How are you able to take a value that's so important to you and then articulate that in a way that you bring not just your team with you, but you bring all of the people around you, your other shareholders. How do you do this?
Well, it's I would say I'm not very conscious about how I do it. It just happened, I have to say, and I guess that it might be because of I do it, yeah, and therefore, the more you do one thing, it's the best way to set an example, no? So the words can convince you, but example really, it's really the thing, no? Doing whatever you want to, when doing whatever you say you want to do, if you actually do it, it's what it sets example, no? And I would say that for me, I have this inner optimism that I have already built in since birth, but I also train on a day-to-day basis because there are always the lots of days where I would be up for giving up. Of course, no, all of us, we have these sentiments one day or another. And yet I also thank my strength and my health and this power that I have inside me that keeps me going further. Why? Because I do this kind of, let's say, unconscious analysis, no? Is what we are doing a good thing? Is it worth fight for? Do we have or do I have the right set of tools to keep pushing and then make it happen? And if all the answers to those questions are a yes, then of course you keep going. Yeah, you're gonna make it because there's always a way. No, this is the thing that I've learned all across my life. There's always a way, and and also a good thing or a crucial thing, I would say, is that you need to surround yourself with also with optimist people. No, because in life there are two sets of people that really tells you why the thing that you want to do or the thing that you want to do because you believe it's the right thing to do, it's not going to be possible because, these kind of things, no? Or excuses because society is a mess, no? Because the humankind is a mess. Because this is too difficult. Politicians are so much a mess. All these kind of excuses, or because technology doesn't allow it yet, or because it's very difficult, or because our competitors are too strong, all these kind of things, no? And then there is another set of people, which is way smaller, I have to say, that instead of pitching you or preaching you on the why not, they find you help the how yeses. Yeah, because there's always a how. There's always a way that you can make things through. And with this in mind, if you have a mantra, no, that says that tells you every day that everything is possible and you will find the right way. It might not be fast, it might not be easy, some parts of it might not be the funniest, yeah, and yet it's still possible. Then you keep going and you do it, yeah. So and this is how I live my life. I learned that from my parents, I have to say, and my siblings are the same way, yeah. And since this is how my heart beats and this is how I do things on a daily basis, that somehow permeates to the organization that I am in and also to the one that I'm leading now, yeah. And
I remember a conversation we had where we were talking about these companies that have these SDGs and everything on their wall, and you said, well, I don't understand why you need to have these on your wall or you have to have these everywhere. We just live them, right? So if you came in and you saw the way me and my team we work, that would be all the SDGs rolled into one. And so I think this is something I'm really keen to open up, because there is this maybe a common narrative that when companies scale up, there's a trade-off, right? You can't really follow a purpose until you get to a position where you're profitable, or you've got product market fit, or you've got the right investors. So maybe you hide your purpose or your true ideas under a rock until you're in a position to be strong enough to then manage your shareholders. But I think with you, it's been the opposite. You've always worn your purpose, your values, your ideals, you've always worn them as almost as a shield, right? This is my brand. This is who I am. Can you maybe share with us a little bit about maybe some of the trade-offs that you've had to have along the way with that approach?
So yeah, a very good question, Tony. And I think that trading values is an oxymoron. So you cannot trade them. Yeah. So if there is something that you are up to trade, then they are not values. So in my case, sticking to our values, sticking to my personal values has been the way to get through everything that had happened to us in the last 15 years and the thing that is going to happen, the things that are going to happen during the next 15 years that started just now, right? So, and therefore it's like, it's like the anchor. It's the reason why we do things. It's as connected to the previous question. When I put my head up and I analyze and I ask myself whether is this worth the fight that we are going to jump in? Is it really worth? It's only worth if it is aligned with our values. And this is the thing that for me it's crucial and it's a pillar of my life and of the way I do things. Then I make sure that everyone that we welcome to join the company, either investors or debt holders or new team members or clients or providers, they know that, because it will get to a point where maybe for them, our values are going to be something that we should be trading for. But I warn them from the very beginning in a very nice way that since they are values, they are not going to be traded. Sometimes people get angry, because when it gets really ugly, people think that maybe, well, she wasn't that serious about it, no? We will see it now. And the uglier the things get, the more serious you need to be on defending your values, because this is the thing that is going to stay forever. It's the thing that after the storm, when the storm is over, what is going to be there forever are your values, and you will need to rebuild or build the next phase or evolve from that foundation. And if the foundation doesn't exist or is gone, then you have nothing, absolutely. And as you said, I wouldn't say so. What are the trade-offs that we've done? Because I would say that I haven't done any, but I had a lot of fights on this non-negotiable, and on those we do not trade at all for anything. So, and we believe in hard work. We believe in this creativity, in this es posible. We believe on that we need to keep rowing. There's a very good entrepreneur that I admire a lot, Elena Gomez de Pozuelo, and she always says she's on our board of directors, and she says everything's going to be fine at the end, and if they are not fine, it's because it's not the end. No? We need to keep going. We have fun along the way, even though sometimes it's hard. We put always people first. That is one of our strongest values. And we say things as they are, even though the conversation gets a little ugly. Meanwhile, saying things as they are. This is who we are, and this is the way we are keeping in.
I mean, so some would say, and maybe I would challenge you as well on this, is that within that approach, there are some blind spots baked into that approach, and you'd look at it and you think, well, maybe there are other ways, right? There's other ways of doing. When you say there are some fights, when you look back at some of the fights that you've had, what's the criteria that you use to decide this is something, we're going to throw everything at, we're going to take this fight on, versus this is something that, I understand what you're saying, I understand, but, we choose not to engage. Well, what's
Absolutely.
the criteria?
Well, depending on the transformational or strategic the crosswords are that we are in. If there is something that we can just like let it happen because time will make it right. That's maybe a decision that you can just not jump in, no? Because of course you need to choose your battles as well, no? The amount of energy, even though I believe I have a lot, it's not unlimited, right? So and therefore, so it's something
Mm.
that we need to care. I need to care. I need to really um um decide where to put all my energy, you know, for the next
Mm.
days, weeks, or years. But whereas in some other situations when it's about living or dying, then you need to be all in, yeah, and you need to do whatever it takes.
I remember I said this to you once, and you laughed. But I said that I've got it written down here. You often act as if you're the smartest person in the room, and in my observation, most of the time, most of the time you are. You,
That
you,
is
you,
not true.
you kind of have you know in my experience with you, you have this ability to intuitively know what's the right thing to do, and that comes with a level of responsibility in being able to articulate that in the right way. It's almost like I see things that you guys don't see, and then finally when you catch up, the amount of times I've heard you say I told you, right, I could have saved you all this. So I mean, how does that gift of intuition, how does that translate into, you know, commercial awareness and business when you're trying to advocate for a specific position?
You know, you're right, Tony, because I am a very intuitive person, and I think that I see things that sometimes they are hard to explain, but I do really see them so clear. And this is an ability that sometimes or many times the certain type of people they try to kill, no? And we've been in the sovereign of data for a long time, yeah. And people were bragging about being data driven and that we take all decisions based on data. And you know I am an engineer, so I like numbers a lot. So I'm a number geek, yeah. And I had a statistics professor while I was in college, and he used to say that in life there are lies, big lies, and then they come numbers, right? Because with this very same set of numbers, you can advocate for a position or exactly the opposite of that position with the very same set of data,
Yeah.
yeah? So I mean, uh, to 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 make a way for me to really trust my intuition and build credibility on the intuition that I have. Because of course, intuition is something that is very hard to describe because you do not know. So it's not just like you see a vision of the Virgin, you know. So it's just
Yeah.
like somehow you connect the lots of dots based on things that you've read, based on things that you've heard and listened, conversations that you've had, research that you've done, thinking that you've put in, and then um, ideas came out of this, right? I mean, it's a product of deep work and research and thinking, yeah. So it's not just like okay, it happens just like this. No, it's a product of this, and to build some credibility on it. So I started using also data, but it was just like to pretend, yeah. So and then yeah, no, as part of the research, and then yeah, I created this methodology of using a combination of intuition and data within our organization to allow people that are more um, um, structured
Mm.
or more um, they are more into the faith of data because it's a faith anyway. Yeah. And really have some things that they could believe in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was a little bit of a trick, but also a methodology that really helps you because data, it's not that I don't care about data at all. So I do care a lot about data. I told you, no? Before that I'm a math geek as well. No? I'm a numbers geek, but it also helps you to structure the way you think and to structure how the picture is, and then maybe you can see the picture and then you can turn it upside down. No, it's like kind of playing with this data to see whether the answers are there or part of the answer is
Mm.
there. And this is the thing that I started doing, and then it after years or after a while, you get better at it. Yeah, because how do you build credibility also? So you build credibility out of sometimes being right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you say something and then people doesn't believe it, or maybe so we do some analysis and research and then we do a A/B testing, and then the A/B testing goes well, and then we launch something, and then this ends up being a hit, and then okay, no, she got it right. Good, no? One.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe then there are three that I don't get it right, because sometimes I fail as well, of course, no? And then, but it compounds, no? And then
And
it
you just
takes,
highlight the ones that you got right, right?
well, no, sometimes, no. The ones, on the ones that you get wrong, or that they do not end up being the same thing that you expected to be at the beginning, you also can build a lot of credibility on. Why? Because maybe the assumptions were wrong, and that's why the outcome was
right.
wrong as well. But if the assumptions were to have been good or valid, then maybe the outcome would have been like this. No, so there's also lots of things that you can learn, not only on the result, but the most important things lay on the process. No, on how did you structure this thinking, and how did you decide to take on that decision, and what were the steps? Was that right? Yeah, maybe yes, in spite of the result. No, so
Mm.
there are, no, it has to be, because and otherwise it would be a credibility killer. Yeah,
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
highlighting the things that you do right.
That's right. That's right. I want to come back to the conversation about values. I heard something this weekend, and it's made me think. And when I heard it, I thought, yeah, I think I'll bring this up with Carlotta because I'd love to hear your opinion. And the hypothesis was that values actually, when you're building a company, when you're building an organization, values don't matter. What matters is your ability to follow the rules. And let me explain what I heard.
Okay.
If you only hire people with similar values to you, then you will essentially be hiring people that maybe look and think and align with the way you think, you look and do things. Whereas if you hire people that maybe have different values, that's where you get the colliding perspectives, but they have to demonstrate an ability to stick to the rules of the company. So they used an example of a basketball player called Dennis Rodman, who was a maverick. I don't know if you know
Of
Dennis from,
course,
yeah,
of
yeah,
course.
he was a total maverick, and when he joined the Chicago Bulls, I mean, he was known to be a bad boy, and his values were completely different to anyone else's, but he stuck to the rules, and so what this person was saying was that's what made them such an incredible team, because they had diverging values, diverging cultures, but they all knew that they had to stick to the rules. And this is the first time I've kind of heard this as a hypothesis, and I thought I'd throw it out to you and see what you think.
Well, I think that this is a question of definition and of the meaning that you attach to those words. Because I believe that in the case that you were just showcasing, for sure he's got the very same values that every top basketball player should have. No, resilience, hard work, willingness to win, for sure. The other, what is different is maybe how he executed on those values,
Hmm.
or what were the surroundings or the ecosystem that he was living in, and therefore the way that he showed up with the values. But the values that were rooted into him, for sure, they were exactly the same. And I mean, values are not diversity. Yeah, it's completely
Yeah, yeah,
different. So
yeah.
it is a way to really mix up things. So values need to be 100% aligned, because they are the foundations where you're going to build your your castle.
Hmm.
Then the castle can come up in so many different shapes. And this is where you want to bring in different points of view, different ways of executing, different ways of thinking, different ways of imagining. But the foundations, they need to be strong and 100% aligned. Otherwise, it will never work. Yeah, and then following the rules is also a way to say, because if you were to tell me, no, would you hire people that follow the rules? I would say no, no, never ever, because I would like to hire people that challenge the rules, no, and really make us understand which rules do we need to evolve or kill or make new ones? Yeah, always based on those values. Yeah, on those in this framework that we want to operate and to live in. And yet, maybe rules in this thing that you've heard over the weekend is a way to name the culture, the way we execute of the values.
Right. Yeah.
It's a way to name on the framework. Because of course you need to set a framework, because sometimes for the same value, no, for the very same words, when I say things as they are, you might understand something very different of the thing that I really want you to understand, or the thing that I mean. And therefore I need to create a set of examples of behaviors that highlight the way I really believe that this value needs to be executed. Saying things as they are might be calling names to a guy that really resembles whatever, right? But this is not the meaning of this value. The meaning of the value is we have direct communication. We speak from the heart and with empathy, with the aim of creating change on the other person, but it's always people first, and therefore respect and positive feedback or constructive feedback should be all the time at the center of this say things as they are, right? So I mean, I would say that this might be like a controversial way to open up conversations about values and how you execute on your values, and therefore the culture that you bring in. But for sure we are meaning more or less the same thing.
It sounds like it's semantic differences, but
exactly.
The ideology behind it is aligned.
The same.
Carlotta, I know you to be a very outspoken person, and by outspoken I mean you have courageous authenticity. You say the things that need to be said, and I've sat in meetings with you where something needs to be said, and I can see you squirming in your chair and looking around, like, is nobody going to? and then eventually it's you that says it, and the thing is, people are relieved that you say it, because it's something that needs to be said. And so I want to kind of draw that into your particular, your business journey, and maybe look at this idea of emotional intelligence and empathy when in business, versus just being ruthless and being tough and no emotions and making cutthroat decisions. Do you see them in the same boat, aligning together, or do you see them as totally opposing approaches to business? Or, I mean, what's your view on how they sit together in the same bed?
I would love to say that I'm 100% into emotionally intelligent communication and that I'm the queen of empathy. And that's the thing that I'm really working on and pushing myself to, because I really see the power of it, no? So the better, so the more you think about how can I say something that needs to be spoken about on a way that the other person feels as part of the conversation, and therefore they can also contribute into building up a potential solution, the more powerful we are. So this is like this. So, and I've experienced, thanks to you, a lot on my own body many times, and that's why I'm a huge believer. And yet it's very hard. You need to train yourself, so it's very exigent, and it doesn't happen spontaneously unless you are master of it. So you become like a black belt at it.
You have to be a ninja, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm still, I would say, in mid yellows. but I'm conscious about it, and I know it, and this is one of my vital goals, to really master the art of having difficult conversations with these super powerful tools of emotional intelligence and empathy, because the outcome that you achieve it's uncomparable. And that happens and that applies for everything in life. So because I'm the way I live, and I know that there are other people no, that lives completely different. But in my case, so I'm not a different person when I show up in the office, or of the person that is cooking dinner in our kitchen every night. Yeah, so I'm exactly the very same person, and I do behave the very same way,
Mm.
and and therefore it's not like okay, in business you are ruthless and tough, and what for? They are also people, the people that you are treating with. So and
That's
you
right.
need to get the best outcome that they can give for the company, for the purpose, for their teams. It is exactly the same thing. Um, and in your family, of course, no. The only thing is that maybe um, in your family is in the circle or in the ecosystem where you are most delicate, no? Because you are not giving up on them, never ever, right?
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
And therefore, yeah, no, you don't want to mess things up at all.
So
Mm.
when we look at what you do, you are in an industry which is male dominated, and it's almost like a double down because you're in tech and you're an engineer, right?
Mhm.
And it's a male dominated industry, and on top of that, you're taking on one of the oldest establishments in the world, right? You know,
Mm.
the
The
energy
energy.
industry. I mean, goodness gracious, you could have picked an easier
Yeah.
fight, right? I mean, can you maybe share with us how that feels for you with your approach to doing business, the you who you are, in such a field that typically is full of alpha personalities, alpha males beating their chest, trying to show who's got the
Mm,
biggest the biggest check.
mm. Well, it is tough, I have to say. It is tough, and luckily inside of Holaluz things are completely different, not because we've built up a completely different kind of way of doing business for the last 15 years, no, and I am very proud to say that women in our team do not feel the way I felt
Mm.
before founding Holaluz, or the way I feel when I go outside in certain circles. Yeah? And so, and this is taking some very brave decisions and standing up for those values of equal rights and for those values of bringing in different sets of talents
Can
and
you share that story about when you set up the company? You had two male founders, and you
mm,
wanted to make sure that there was space for the nursery.
that was back in 2014, and we hired a head of data and yeah, and when we were it was like a position that it was for us very hard to fill, so we interviewed like a number of candidates, and finally we came up with a lady that was completely suitable for the job, and we loved her energy, and the way he was thinking, and his background, her background, and everything. And then by the end of the interview, she told me, "Wow, I've enjoyed that very much, and I would be so glad to join. And yet, I'm going to tell you something because I don't want to trick you, and I know that you will not be able to hire me." And I said, "Why? And what? No?" And she said, "Well, I'm 3 months pregnant, no?" And I said, "Well, congratulations." You start next Monday. And she was like amazed, no? Why? So are you crazy? And I told her, look, I would be crazy if after what I know and after the process we've been in, I know you are completely suitable for that job. I wouldn't be hiding you only because you're going to be a mom in 6 months from now. That I'm sure that it's going to make you a way better person and therefore a way better professional. So she joined, and then, so we were moving offices from the first incubator that we were in, that we started in 2011. So that was by the end of 2014, and we were moving and to a bigger office. And then I told my two co-founders, okay, we're going to use that space for a nursery. They told me, you're crazy. What for? Because we need some space for our sales guys, and this is a terrace that the smoking people can use. So smoking people, they take the stairs and they go down and they do whatever, no? But we are going to have a baby in 6 months from now, no? Because it was like after she had the baby, 6 months from that point, maybe mid-June 2015, we're gonna have a baby, and we need to provide the proper space for mothers and fathers, because that's gonna happen as well, to bring on their kids, because it is said by the World Wide Organization of Health that kids shouldn't be joining a kindergarten before they are 1 year old, and moms, it's by that time, so they were advising mothers to breastfeed their kids for at least 6 months. But the maternity leave in Spain was also only 4 months, and therefore things didn't click, no? And therefore we need to provide the situation that these things could happen. And they were like kind of against, no? But I drew a red line there, no? Look, we are doing it for sure. And I told them, look, as a joke, no? Because sometimes humor helps a lot, no? In these kind of negotiations. Look, I understand, I told them, that if we were not to have any kids, that would be maybe too soon to set up the nursery. But since we have already one, no, because they were saying, oh, we have only one. Yeah, of course, enough, no? Enough. If we were to have none, okay, then we wait a little bit, no? But we have already a baby girl that signed in for it. And then we set it up. We still have it, yeah, 10 years after. And in less than 3 minutes, the thing that they were the most proud of that we've done in Holaluz, my two co-founders, was the nursery. Every person that stepped into our offices, now we moved to even bigger offices a couple of years after. So the first thing that they show everyone is our nursery. And it's a way, as we were saying at the beginning, is a way to set example. It's not that we are talking about integration of your personal life and your professional life. Something we are providing the right set of assets and infrastructure that would make that happen. No? And from that moment to today, we've had like dozens of kids, of baby kids, from mothers and also from fathers. That are part of World.
So I think of you as a leader, and I know many people in Europe that have heard of you, that know your journey from setting up the company, all the battles you've had, and you stayed true to what your purpose. And I think about somebody who is maybe just starting the journey, maybe a female who looks at you, who doesn't know you personally, but has maybe followed your trajectory. If there was one sentence that you could place on the desk of every founder tomorrow morning, and they wake up and this is the thing that has been an insight for you, what would that one sentence look like? What would it be?
Believe in yourself.
Sounds like that's come from plenty of experience.
Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Because there are many situations that you go through so all the situations that you're going to go through, all of them, 100% of them, you're going to make it. The only thing is that you need to believe in yourself and find the how yes, and believe in yourself. And the thing that when people try to beat you, so when you are against somebody or you are really facing something that you need to overcome, so the thing that they try to take away from you is your belief in yourself, because this is what makes you unstoppable and powerful.
Yeah.
So believe in yourself. And believe in yourself, I have to say, it's not only for fighting and so for going through it, for making it happen. Sometimes it's also good. It also serves the fact that, okay, I had enough. Yeah. So we stop here. Our journey ends here for whatever reason, because we want to do something else, or because we believe that our mission or my personal values or my personal purpose is going to be way more achievable if I do something else. So it's not always about keep going. Yeah. It can be that, okay, I do not keep going that path anyway. So I switch the path, right? So, but still, it's still on believe in yourself.
Carlotta, you know very well. I could spend the whole evening talking to you, and there's so many things I've learned from you through talking with you and just observing as well. And I'm a huge fan of yours. I think you know that. As we come to the end of our conversation, I'd like to maybe ask you, for our listeners, if they want to get in contact with you, if they just want to follow you and feel your energy and learn from you, what's the best way they can contact you? And finally, what is it that's making you really excited at the moment? What are you working on?
Well, I live in Barcelona, and I'm quite active on LinkedIn. So I would welcome everyone that is such a hard-minded to be a follower of your podcast, Tony, that I've enjoyed so much. So, and I would love to contact all of them over LinkedIn. And yeah, I'm really excited about how technology, especially Gen AI, is helping us reshape the world and make things way easier for lots of people that do not have an easy life yet, no? And in the vertical that I'm working on, which is energy, we are seeing already the power of leveraging technology for providing everyone with cheap, green, and easy electricity. And I'm super excited about that.
Carlota Pi, this has been a masterclass in how to live with purpose, drive a purpose that impacts the world. And there's a saying I always love, is that a real person is somebody who plants the seeds under the shade under which they will probably never sit themselves. And I think you're planting those seeds yourselves, and the changes that you're making are admirable. I'd like to thank you for joining us and sharing your insights with us on Empathy at the Table.
Thank you, Tony. It's been a privilege to share with all of you, and I've enjoyed that very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.